Hello everyone, welcome back to another, I guess this is going to be another series. In this series I want to start getting into more of the combative aspects of sabers. I'm not going to cover the 7 forms of lightsaber combat because to be honest I don't know as much about them as other people do. I know Terra Prime Lightsaber Academy has gone into great detail on those forms. From my point of view, if you learn the first form, that's really just going to lay the foundation for what you need to know, okay? So the first form, if you don't know, it's Shicho, and that's going to cover the basic strikes, the basic blocks, and from there it's really just variations of that and how to apply those strikes and those blocks in other forms. So I'm not going to cover all the 7 forms, I'm just going to cover the first one. I'm going to give you like the basic strikes, the basic blocks. I will go into, what's the advantage and disadvantage of each saber type, and how to apply certain things. Obviously I can't go into much detail as I would like because it's just myself. If I had another person I could actually show you, applications of how to do these different things, but since it's just me by my lonesome, I'm going to try to do my best at it. Hopefully it's going to convey what I'm trying to say. So in this video, obviously I just want to cover stances, the basic strikes that you have. The next one I'll get into the basic blocks. So when it comes to saber combat, or saber choreography I guess, this would apply to that as well. You can break the body down into different zones of attack, okay? And this is going to be true for a lot of different styles. The first zone is the top of the head, okay? And that's where that overhead slash comes from, okay? Second zone is going to be the right arm, okay? So if you were my opponent, this would be a strike to zone 2, okay? That right arm. Zone 3 is the left arm, okay? The opposite one. Zone 4 is pretty much center of the chest. This is this is like impaling moves, this is horizontal slashes through the midsection, that kind of thing. Zone 5 is the right leg, okay? This would be like a low strike to that right leg. And zone 6 is the left leg, okay? So the opposite one. Depending on which zone you're striking to, that's going to lead to a certain strike, okay? So obviously zone 1, that's pretty standard. It's pretty much an overhead strike, okay? To zone 1, which is the head. Zone 2, you have horizontal strikes, which would be, again, the right arm. So if you were my opponent, you can think of your right side as zone 2. This would be any kind of horizontal slash coming from the right side, okay? Again, you can do this in many different ways. You can do it single hand, you can do two hand, whatever. Like obviously zone 3 is the opposite of that. It's the opposite slash, the horizontal slash coming from the opposite side. Zone 4, which is pretty much the middle of the chest, like I said, is more impaling moves. It can be strikes, but typically with strikes it's either going to be zone 2, zone 3, 5, 6, that kind of thing. So typically zone 4 is going to be more impaling kind of things. This is typically used a lot in fencing, where you're more trying to hit the opponent with the tip of the saber. It's going to be more for that kind of thing. Obviously zone 5 is going to be a low diagonal strike, pretty much like that, okay, where you're coming towards that right leg with a slash. And obviously for zone 6 it's going to be the opposite of that, okay? These are your basic strikes, okay? A lot of people will combine these. A lot of people, this is how you create combinations. For example, if I wanted to do a zone 3 to a zone 6, okay? So zone 3 would be that kind of slash. If I were to carry that around, I could do a zone 6 slash, okay? So 3, 6, okay? If I wanted to do an overhead slash, zone 1 to a zone 4 slash, that'd be overhead 4. Okay, both legs 5, 6. Okay, so that's really the basics of the strikes. Obviously, you can get into how you strike. You know, you can vary the ways that you attack the opponent, but usually there's only so many ways to attack someone with a saber. The real power of the first form, which is that Shicho, is being able to take those moves and combine them. So a good way to practice is, if you don't have someone to practice with, maybe get like a foam board or something, you know, draw the zones of attack, and then just take 2 of them, take 2 or 3, and then try to combine, you know, strikes, okay? So 3, 2, 6, 1, 5, 3, you know, whatever. That's a good way to practice on your own. Just kind of give yourself some sort of target system and start, you know, combining. Like, if I do this kind of slash, what can I do from there? Okay, so I can do a zone 3 to 5 slash, and coming the opposite way, I can do a 5 to 3 slash. Okay, basically just combining attacks, combining different zones. That's going to kind of give you a feel for, you know, what moves flow into which. Okay, obviously it's going to be a little bit hard to go the same zone each time, unless you go around the head, which you can. I mean, a lot of times you'll see a lot of people, they'll combine moves by, you know, they'll go around the head like that. That's going to come more with combining blocks with slashes, but I'll get into that into the next one. So for right now, that's the very basics of saber combat with the actual strikes. Again, once you learn those, once you get good at those, you can start branching out into the different forms and how to apply those different attacks. But for right now, this is all I'm going to cover in this one. I will get into the applications of the other different saber types. Single saber, which is a lot of people use single saber. This is probably, I would consider, the most versatile, because you can do strikes two-handed, you can do them one-handed, you can use reverse grip if you wanted to. I might make a separate video on that at some point, but single saber you're going to find is probably the most versatile. Again, you can do it one-handed, the opposite hand, two-handed, that kind of thing. So next video I'll get into the actual blocks, and then I'll start branching out into the different saber types. So that was lesson 1 of this series. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. Bye.